Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Why am I working on the day of rest? Because I've got rather a lot on this week, and this is going to be my last chance to do it. I'm only in for 4 days this week, and then I start a wonderful week's holiday. So you will not be getting, unless something crops up during the week, you won't be getting any commentary from me for till the week on Monday, roughly. Don't even try. Don't even try and get in touch with me because I will be studiously avoiding any contact with the university while I'm away. And the reason why I haven't planned this better, so I couldn't do this on a Monday on a regular working day, is that these films take an awful lot longer than I kind of anticipated. Really, you know, of with this and with the other online courses that I do, this more or less takes up a full day, and it's hard to imagine where the time goes really because I've only got half a dozen online courses, and each of the films only takes 10 minutes, something like that. So it's hard to see where all the time goes. But what I need to do, you see, is to go back through all of my email contacts with you for a full week, and then look at the discussion boards, and then consider any technical issues which might have cropped up. And so, bit by bit, stage by stage, with looking over everything, it takes up a full day. And I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I'm not. I really am not. One of the beauties about me doing this sort of stuff is I need to go back and nitpick everything that's happened during the week, and it teaches me some really valuable lessons that you know, if I just wrote to everybody individually as things were coming through, then I wouldn't get that sense of overview that I get. So anyway, the point is I'm doing it today, and next week I'll be gone from Thursday afternoon until a week the following morning. So you can send me any emails that you want. But if I answer any of them, or even if I read any of them, I will be getting a very frowny look from my missus. She'll be glaring at me. So there you are. So what have I had this week? Well, the correspondence hasn't been enormous this week, but it's been high quality all the same. Most of it's come from the very wonderful Pat. So what did she say on the discussion board? She points out. You can look at it yourself. She points out that no matter what country you live in, being told you got an aneurysm and it's a ticking time bomb in your abdomen is a pretty scary thing to be told, really. And the larger it gets, I mean, and the more obvious. I wonder if people who've got large aneurysms don't look down at their abdomen in the bath and think, "Wonder what that is." I mean, in a thinnish person, for instance, a large aneurysm is going to start to become obvious, isn't it? Isn't it going to become obvious? The minimum, the minimum self-examination is going to kind of. That wasn't like that when I was younger. And you wonder what sense people make of it if they can feel this pulsatile mass. I say that, but when I was with Martin Fox last week, he had a feel of someone's aorta, and he said that he could feel that it felt rather large to him, and I had a feel, and sure enough, there was something there that I could feel all right, and it was a thin sort of oldish bloke. But as I told him, the aneurysms that I'd been used to seeing were aneurysms in theatre in the 1980s, where things were pretty much primitive compared to now. So that when someone came for an aneurysm to be resected, you didn't need to sort of feel down on their aorta at all. You could do that with your finger, just put it by their belly button, and you get a pretty good idea of what was going on underneath. The one that Martin queried was kind of subtle and you had to feel around for it, really. I'd be interested to know what the ultrasound said about the one that he picked up. But so yeah, Pat, really scary thing to be told, really. And I wonder how many. Am I the only one in this group who's ever seen a leaking aneurysm in theatre? Um, that's a really scary event, that is. That's really scary. That was the one that we all dreaded, really, in an operating theatre. You go through skin, you go through fat, you go through peritoneum, and then then you can see then you can see the aortic sac in itself, and then if you're gonna start messing around with it, it's 2 suction catheters in straight away, yeah, and the blood that comes out is just absolutely enormous. It's a terrifying experience until the surgeon gets the cross clamps on. Once that's happened, everyone can relax a little bit. But it's a terrible. And I remember one time. I was in an operating theatre. I was assisting the surgeon, and the person on the table was someone I knew. I'm elbow deep in someone who used to work in the hospital. For goodness sake, I threw the question in there. Has anybody ever seen someone refuse consent for a leaking aneurysm? I saw one once. There was an 82-year-old bloke who refused to sign the consent form and just wanted morphine. And he recognised that his life was at an end and was kind of satisfied with that, really. And you know what? I kind of admired him for it, And in a way, I sort of thought, well, I hope I'm like that when I'm his age. Yeah, I did, really. But well done, Pat. Yeah, good contribution there in the discussion board. You also mentioned the issue of intensive care and the nightmares that a person is likely to have when they come out of intensive care if they've been in for a while because of having an aneurysm resected or an emergency resection. I don't believe I picked up from your introduction. You're an ex-intensive care nurse, Pat, I wonder. So, the other thing I want to say is that just to say, I did go over last Friday and meet Martin Fox, vascular podiatrist over in Manchester, and my head came back absolutely chock-a-block full of ideas. Not just chock-a-block full of ideas about the place of podiatry in vascular disease management and the role of podiatry in general, cardiovascular surveillance, but also how I could beef up the podiatry element, the lower down section. What I'm thinking is to have the course, the vascular course. I don't know what you think about this. Let me know what your opinions are. But have like pear-shaped, if you see what I mean. Cover head, neck, chest, cover all that. But to have a pear-shaped and have the course materials expand out towards the bottom when we get to lower limb. I think that's the sort of visual interpretation of the curriculum that I'm going to go for in the future. But it's just a thought, because Martin just opened my eyes to all sorts of things that could have gone into the podiatric aspects of the module. So, anything else? Anything else I've got to tell? Oh yeah. Another thing from the email bag, from my post bag. Again, Pat. Good to see that you're going to get a proper PC, Pat, and you won't have to argue with the kids about getting access to stuff now. Well done. Just make sure all your software is up to date. Make sure you've got the latest versions of Adobe, the latest versions of browsers, and away we go, eh? So, see you soon, everybody, when I'm back from holidays with my sombrero.